Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the April 2nd edition of Carolina Week.
I'm reporter Jenna Suggs. Coming up, I'll take you inside Carmichael Auditorium, where fans watch the UNC women's basketball team on the big screen.
Students are speaking out to kick off Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
In sports, the Lady Tar Heels take a page from the men's playbook, blowing a late lead in the NCAA tournament.
Everybody's favorite weathercaster, Johnny O, is here with your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and a box of chocolates. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Kate Schoen.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thanks for joining us. Folks who couldn't make it to Cleveland had a chance to watch the women's basketball team against Tennessee on the big screen. Reporter Jenna Suggs joined the fans in Carmichael Auditorium.
Fans came to Carmichael Auditorium last night to watch the Final Four matchup between UNC and Tennessee. And it was almost like the real thing. There were concessions, pom-poms, even part of the band was there. But something was missing from the screening of the game. Lots of people. When the men's basketball team played for the national championship in 2005, the Dean Dome was packed. Here in Carmichael Auditorium, there are plenty of seats to go around. Layla Al-Youssef, who graduated last year, says she thought more people would show up for the showdown.
I think there's a huge difference in the way that the men and the women, or the fans support the men and the women's team. I was thinking there was going to be more of a turnout, but, I'm proud that everybody's still here.
And Al-Youssef isn't alone in her thinking. Junior Elizabeth McLean thinks people are noticing women's basketball more and more as it becomes more competitive.
I don't get the feeling that tonight there's going to be that many people here in Carmichael, unfortunately. And I think that's because, a lot of people are just now starting to catch on to the fact that women can play competitive basketball.
Despite the lack of fans, people showed their support and even supported each other after the loss to Tennessee. They all hope that next year, UNC women's basketball fans will have more to cheer about. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jenna Suggs, Carolina Week.
Viewers in Carmichael almost didn't get to see the end of the game. With about a minute left, technical difficulties caused the giant projector screen to show another TV show instead of the game.
Well, thousands of people made the trip to Concord, North Carolina this past weekend to pay tribute to Jason Ray. He wore the Ramses mascot costume for 3 years. Universities across the country sent flowers, which surrounded Ray's Carolina blue casket, as friends and family remembered him through stories and songs. Ray will be buried on Tuesday in his parents' home state of Kentucky.
If you're not able to travel around the world, you can still enjoy goods from as far away as South America and Africa. Local students and businesses held a fair trade craft sale on Friday. They sold clothing, jewelry, and shoes made in places such as Paraguay, Rwanda, and Guatemala. By selling goods such as organic coffee, vendors promote livable wages for their workers and healthy work environments. Student Ashley Heiser co-founded a fair trade and organic clothing company last year to improve international workers' conditions.
So many of our products today are made in sweatshops. People are paid pennies for days worth of work, and they just can't make ends meet. So fair trade tries to equal the playing field for workers.
Advocates for grassroots development in Uganda and the Federal Trade Federation sponsored the craft sale. Both groups promote economic development and sustainability. You might think an old rusty shovel is just an old rusty shovel, but at a new exhibit at McDougal Middle School, it's considered art. Local artists have recycled everyday objects such as books, fabric, and the shovel into art, and not all of it hangs on the walls. This dress, for example, was made from a hospital drape. Painter Sudi Rukensen made these journals. She says authors such as Emily Dickinson and the Persian poet Rumi inspire her creations.
They sort of lead me, and I come to them every day and wonder where I'm going to go with it. And and I just follow.
The exhibit runs through June 13th. For more information about the exhibit and upcoming events, you can check out our website, carolinaweek.org.
Many students use the online encyclopedia Wikipedia to research class assignments, but some colleges and universities have officially banned Wikipedia because of its questionable authority. Anyone can instantly edit the pages on the website. So far, UNC hasn't made an official statement about using Wikipedia, but Executive Associate Provost Steve Allred says the credibility of the source should determine what you use in your work.
An article that was published in Nature or Cell, that's obviously going to have much greater impact and credibility than what somebody put in some entry in Wikipedia.
Wikipedia has advised people not to use the website as a primary or authoritative source. Well, if you're graduating this May, you might need to get ready to change your UNC email address. Graduating seniors can keep their current email addresses for only 60 days after graduation, but students will be able to set up a forwarding email address that shows off their alma mater. The address can link to other email servers, such as Google's Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and MSN Hotmail. ITS Associate Director Bruce Egan points out the importance of the transition.
The bottom line is, within that 60 days, the students need to have selected another email client or system to be using and have exported their email files out of their UNC system and imported it into the new system that they're going to use.
For directions about how to sign up for an alumni email address, visit our website, carolinaweek.org.
April isn't just the month for seniors to prepare for graduation, but also a time for everyone to become aware of a serious issue. Reporter Laura Rincon has the story.
Sexual Assault Awareness Month, or SAM, kicked off today in the pit on UNC's campus. One of the partners is the Orange County Rape Crisis Center, and Assistant Director Krista Park hopes that this month will help open up some dialogue about sexual violence.
Something is wrong.
Really hoping to break the silence around the issue and letting survivors know that they're not alone, and that it's okay to talk about experiences, and it's okay to seek services, and that there's an agency that is here to help support those in the community who have been impacted.
I'm here in the pit where SAM volunteers have set up a display of t-shirts designed by sexual assault survivors. This t-shirt says, "Rape is not a women's issue, it's a human issue." So what else is on the agenda for the month of April?
On April 11th at 6:30 p.m., the documentary No will be showing at the Chapel Hill Public Library. On April 15th at 3 p.m., the St. Thomas More Catholic Church will host a Healthy Relationships workshop in Spanish. On April 19th at 7 p.m., Dr. Margaret Abraham will be speaking in Chapman Hall on sexual violence in the South Asian community. And finally, on April 30th, the Carborough Century Center will host the 5th annual Shout Out Against Sexual Violence, where survivors will perform artistic works about sexual assault. The organizers are asking you to open your mind and learn something this month. I'm Laura Rincon for Carolina Week.
You can learn more about the issue and this month's events by visiting our website, carolinaweek.org.
If there's one thing college students are known for, it's finding a way to eat despite being low on cash.
When we come back, we'll take a look at a low-cost food phenomenon and how it can affect your diet.
It's springtime in the forest of the black-tailed deer. The young male is feeling playful. It's time for tag. The female flicks her ears. Her way of saying, "Catch me if you can."
Check it out, man.
What is that?
It looks like someone's belly. Yeah, probably lost it walking on the beach.
Man, just leave it. Let's go.
The price of birth control might triple after this semester for students who get their pills from Student Health. UNC offers orthotricycline low, which could go from $16 to $55 because of a new law. The Deficit Reduction Act of 2005 no longer allows manufacturers to offer schools reduced prices. Some students worry the price hike will extend to other prescriptions.
I think it's kind of the college's responsibility to facilitate our needs and stuff, especially since we're not home, and especially for kids that are out of state. So I think that, yeah, it'll probably have an impact.
Other contraceptives, such as NuvaRing, have gone up more than $25 since January, but you can file an insurance claim if you need a little help covering the cost.
The government recommends Americans eat 2 to 3 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But, according to a recent survey, more than 2/3 of Americans don't. The survey also suggests the problem is worse for young adults than for other age groups. Only 1/5 of 18 to 24-year-olds eat enough veggies. UNC senior Mary Fesperman says finding time and money to eat well can be tough, so she usually eats on the go.
I often get my vegetables from the spinach quesadilla at Cosmic. Sometimes from tomato sauce because I make pasta regularly.
Government officials aim to have 75% of Americans eating their veggies by the year 2010. Well, good news for chocolate lovers. Dark chocolate might actually be good for you. Recent studies show eating chocolate can improve blood vessel function during a short period of time. Researchers say the antioxidants in dark chocolate might be good for your heart. But UNC nutritionist Brendan Jones says that doesn't mean you should go overboard with the Hershey's.
You have to consider that chocolate packs a lot of calories and sugar. So, you could really gain weight, which could lead to obesity.
Sugar-free dark chocolate appears to have more health benefits than regular chocolate.
Ramen noodles fit perfectly in every college student's budget, but reporter Takita Wilkerson tells us why you might want to break away from the oodles of noodles.
You can find ramen noodles, also known as oodles and noodles, in the pantries of most college students. They're so popular that some students even have a favorite kind or not so favorite kind.
My favorite kind of ramen noodle is the Oriental.
It's more exciting than the chicken, not as gross as the shrimp.
I'd have to say chicken flavored. Anything but shrimp flavor. Shrimp flavor is nasty. It tastes like old bubble gum.
The main reason students eat ramen noodles is because they're cheap. You can buy 8 packages for $1 at this grocery store. They're also easy to make. You boil a pot of water, stick in noodles, stir them occasionally, and add the seasoning after the noodles are soft.
You've just seen the basic way to prepare ramen noodles, but it's not the only way.
I usually drain out the water.
Boil some hot dogs and cut them up and put them inside the ramen noodles.
If you make them in a pot, watch out, do not burn them, because they will stick to the pot, girl.
Sometimes I eat them raw without cooking them.
Health experts say ramen noodles aren't good for you no matter how you eat them. They're high in sodium and calories. The sodium in a pack of ramen noodles is equal to this spoonful of salt. Ramen noodles also have 70 more calories than the average 20-ounce bottle of soda. These instant noodles create heavy binge eating because they don't satisfy your hunger. So how can you eat healthy and cheap? Plan your meals ahead of time and always shop smart. Experts say that doesn't include buying a bag full of ramen noodles. In Chapel Hill, I'm Takita Wilkerson, Carolina Week.
It's important to remember that healthy eating needs to include a variety of foods with sufficient amounts of protein, calcium, and water.
Well, we're now joined by weathercaster Johnny O. So Johnny, hello first of all, and
Howdy.
second of all, are you a fan of the ramen noodle?
Well, I'd just say it has a good taste to it, but I don't know if it's exactly good for you. Takita talked about how it's not healthy for you.
Well, let's get to the weather. It's been beautiful. What do we have to expect for the rest of the week?
Well, it seems like that, yesterday I was outside, in the sunny skies, and then it started raining, but we're going to see very warm conditions, at least for the next couple of days. In the past few days and now the next couple of days, people are going to walk around in shorts and t-shirts. But will the temperature honeymoon last through the first week in April? I'll have the details when I return.
Hey, Zachary.
Ready?
You looking good?
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
Passing gas in the presence of others is not only inappropriate,
That is so foul.
it can be deadly. Passing gas releases a fog of carbon monoxide
Grandpa,
and other poisonous fumes that can contribute to asthma and pneumonia.
you're killing us over here.
Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas. Take it outside.
Well, welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Jonathan O. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your week. And you know, those ramen noodles are starting to sound good. I'm getting a little hungry right now. Anyways, let's take a look at your weather headlines. First of all, we are seeing somewhat of a spring honeymoon right now with temperatures in the 80s at this time of year. But what's going to happen is we're going to see a change as temperatures are going to start dropping, and we're going to see wet conditions possibly by midweek, and then honeymoon's over. I'm sorry, but temperatures are going to crash about 20 degrees below what we're seeing right now into the 60s. I'll tell you about why in just a moment. But taking a look at the southeastern satellite and radar, notice there's not really much going on. These are false echoes. Don't worry, they're not actually seeing rain out there. Clear conditions throughout the entire section of the southeastern section of the United States. What's going to happen is, and we didn't exactly have the opportunity to draw this front on here because it's way out of the screen. You can't really see it right now. What's going to happen is a cold front is going to swing on through here by Thursday and into Friday. Behind it, cold air mass. I mean like really cold air mass will be moving through our area. Temperatures will be falling down throughout the week. Now, let's take a look at how much of a temperature difference we're going to see. Now, this is today's map of the highs that we saw for today. Notice that it's in the 80s. Red shades throughout the southeastern section. Look all the way. I think we could prance around here and see how far it goes, all the way over to the western section of the United States. Here's the difference. Let's look at Thursday's highs. The orange is gone. It's like down in Florida and way over toward the western sections, extreme western sections of the United States. That means that highs for our area are going to be in the 60s for our daytime highs. Overnight lows are going to be in the freezing category, possibly by Easter Sunday. So we'll have the details on that on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week. Anyways, here's your forecast for tonight. Under mostly cloudy skies, you notice the little haze. You really can't see that moon. Temperature lows tonight in the mid-50s. So the honeymoon stays for at least the next couple of days, mid-50s for Chapel Hill and Duke. Tomorrow, our highs will be into the 80s once again. Enjoy it, get outside. But notice we're going to see a lot of passing clouds throughout the area. And then let's take a look at your 4-day forecast for the next few days. Again, big notice of temperature change on Thursday into Friday. Highs in the 60s and lows are playing around with the mid-30s. Under clearing skies, but we'll, again, see a slight chance of rain on Wednesday, and we're going to see possible freezing temperatures for Easter Sunday. Again, I'll tell you about that on Wednesday edition of Carolina Week, but otherwise, here's my advice. Just spend your time outside studying, enjoy the day for the next couple of days, and then get inside and study.
So prance outside in the 80s, and then head on inside and study.
Exactly.
All right, I got it. Thanks, Johnny.
And we're joined now by sportscaster Deshaun Brown. And Deshaun, there's not a lot of prancing going around when we're talking about the women's basketball team. No. Last week we were talking about the men losing. This week, the women?
Yeah, pretty much everything that could have gone wrong in that game did go wrong. We'll have more about that in just a few minutes. Yeah. But coming up in sports, baseball season is in full swing. We will show you how the Heels fared in a 3-game series against Wake Forest.
Where's the whole wheat? There's no whole wheat. Hey, excuse me?
Excuse me, sir. Something wrong?
Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on. Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Guido.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't. Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Deshaun Brown. It was a sad yet confusing night in Cleveland for the Lady Tar Heels. Now, despite holding Tennessee to just 27% from the field, the women lost the game and their shot at the national title. The energy was high going into the semifinal, but it was physical and nothing short of an ugly first half. The Heels and the Vols had their two best players, Latta and Parker, on the bench with foul trouble. Carolina enjoyed a much better start to the second half. They went on a 17-2 run during a 5-minute period, leading by as much as 12. Things were looking good, but that's when the wheels came off for the Heels. Starters Latoya Pringle and Camille Little both fouled out of the game. The Tar Heels wouldn't score a single field goal in the final 8 minutes. Instead, they watched Candace Parker lead her team to a 56-50 win. The Vols now own the worst shooting percentage from the field by a winning team in Final Four history. The Heels had a few ugly stats of their own. Carolina's guards, Ivory Latta and Alex Miller, combined for 3 assists and 12 turnovers. Elena Larkins was a non-factor in this game. She only had 4 points after dropping 29 against Purdue. Carolina scored almost 35 below its season average. Not all of the news concerning Carolina basketball is sad. Men's coach Roy Williams has been elected to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Williams is the 8th Tar Heel to be elected, joining legendary coaches Dean Smith and Frank McGuire. The induction ceremony will be held in September at the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Now on Friday, Carolina baseball welcomed the Demon Deacons to the Bosch. In the first inning, first baseman Dustin Ackley smacks this 2-run homer well over the right field wall. Ackley extends his hitting streak to 20 games. To the 8th, Carolina up 3-1 with a Deacon up to bat. Watch the Heels turn it for a smooth double play to close it out. The Deacons couldn't do anything about that. Now in the 9th, Andrew Carrigan put the Deacons to sleep with strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. Now Carrigan is tied at 8th for all-time career saves. Moving on to Saturday. The Demon Deacons scored 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning to take the 5-1 lead. In the bottom of the 7th, the Heels came back with 8 runs. Carolina went on to finish off the Demon Deacons 11-6. Moving to Sunday action, the Heels trailed Wake by 2 in the 6th inning. After too many doubles like this one, Coach Fox had a word with his Heels and sent pitcher Luke Buchanan to the bench. Then the game only got worse. Rob Catapano's first pitch is wild. The pitcher throws it back. Catapano thinks he has it, but drops it. Wake up by 3. Minutes later, the Deacons send it back to Catapano for what should have been the easy out. Catapano overthrows first base by a mile. The Demon Deacons defeated the Heels 6-0. Baseball legend Ted Williams once said, "Hitting a baseball is the single hardest thing to do in sports." This statement doesn't seem to apply to UNC freshman sensation Dustin Ackley. Our own Joe George has more.
Well, he's like a gym rat. He's like a gym rat in baseball, in basketball. He's just, he's out here all the time. He loves it.
Head coach Mike Fox has never seen a freshman put up numbers like Dustin Ackley has this season.
He's on a pace that's almost, unimaginable in baseball.
Despite his early success, Ackley has remained modest.
I've been fortunate on most of my base hits and finding holes, and that's what it's all about. There's some guys on our team that have been hot and hitting the ball hard, but they've just been hitting it right at people, and some of mine have just found holes.
Ackley's stats include a team-leading .475 batting average, 56 hits, and 40 RBIs. This lofty batting average comes as a surprise even to Ackley.
I was hoping to be up in at least the 300s, but I never really expected that.
He is also on a current 22-game hitting streak, and Coach Fox doesn't want to disrupt his mindset.
When somebody's going like that, the worst thing you can do is say anything to him. You just try to not mess up the mojo. You just don't say much to him. But he's a special talent.
The 2-time ACC Player of the Week has really impressed his coach at the plate.
He's barreled so many balls and hit him on the nose. He's just got the flattest swing. His barrel stays through the zone a long time when he hits. He's really been taught well.
In his first year, Ackley has enjoyed his experience as a Tar Heel. And because of MLB draft rules, he'll be around through at least his junior season.
That is a good feeling, knowing that some of these young guys are going to be here for 3 years.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, all my teammates are good guys, and it's much respect from everybody. So I just love it out here.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Joe George, Carolina Week Sports.
It's pretty impressive. Now, it's been 13 years since the men's lacrosse team beat Johns Hopkins. Do I sense an upset? Carolina, sporting the white jerseys here, showed no signs of fear against this Blue Jay team. In the fourth, with the score tied at 9, Brian Connors was getting fancy with the behind-the-back goal. The Heels take the 10-9 lead. But you know Johns Hopkins isn't going out like that. The Jays get the easy goal to tie it at 10. Oh, but it gets even better. Michael Burns, off the Brian Connors assist, that's the game winner. Carolina upsets 5th-ranked Johns Hopkins 13-10. Carolina's women's lacrosse team hosted ACC rival Boston College on Sunday. The ladies jumped ahead early with this goal by Megan Bosica. Boston College tried to stay in the game and even tied the score, but the Heels then proceeded to put on a show. They netted 10 straight goals, 6 coming from freshmen. Carolina ran away with the easy 14-4 win, securing its #2 ranking and improving to 10-1 on the season. So a nice way to end the weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks, Deshawn. We told you earlier how dark chocolate can help your heart. That's good news for chocolate lovers like me.
Well, the good news keeps rolling in. When we come back, we'll show you the newest place to get your chocolate fix, where people are lining up like kids in a candy store.
Okay, guys, time for takeoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Hey kids, it's time to go to the planetarium.
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Doesn't it seem like we've mentioned food a lot today? Yeah. I'm telling you, with all this talk of chocolate, my stomach is rumbling.
Well, then it's a good thing Chapel Hill now has its very own Belgian chocolatier. Reporter John Pope has the story.
No, this isn't Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And I grew up in Amsterdam. I always got their chocolate as a child.
This is Bob Droog in Chocolaterie Stam, Chapel Hill's newest candy store.
People are just raving about it because it's just so, it tastes so very good, so it's very authentic, just like people expect it to be, not like artificial flavorings, which often spoils the taste of good food.
And Droog knows, when people rave,
those are good.
Their friends will stop in. He's already seeing regular customers after being open just 3 weeks.
What I really enjoy is how people, they come in here and then they appreciate the amount of work that we put in here, and they like being here and they say nice things. They all wish me good luck with my store and a lot of success, and they spread the word for me. And
all of this chocolate is less than 2 weeks old. It's made with a creme fraiche recipe and all organic ingredients, which makes for fantastic chocolate.
Fresh chocolate with unique recipes isn't the only draw to Chocolaterie Stam, though. The European look of the store makes you feel like you're nowhere near Chapel Hill. So what's Droog's favorite part of the job?
I have to test every chocolate on its freshness, and that takes me a while.
And freshness is the goal. After all, like we learned from Willy Wonka, it's every Candyman's job to make the world taste good. In Chapel Hill, I'm John Pope, Carolina Week.
Boy, that looks good, doesn't it, Kate?
Well, not quite so good as all these awards that we just gathered last weekend at the National Broadcasting Society.
That's right, 17 awards, including 8 National First Place Awards. We're very proud of those. That's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks very much for watching. Have a good night.